So this might sound very weird, but our 60-pound, block-shaped wooden CRT TV from our childhood is a beloved artifact to Mike and I. This vintage bad boy created an important chapter in mine and Matt's lives. It welcomed us into the world of video games, and we'd love to share the pages that's filled with stories about our childhood TV, from the origins to the different kinds of games we played on it, and our strong sentimental value. Unfortunately, with every story written and told, an inevitable ending will always be born. It may be a good ending that makes one feel like gold, or a bad ending that will cause one to mourn. A story can't have a conclusion without a proper beginning. So let's rewind and take it from the top. Our childhood TV has been on this planet for a long time. The genesis of this massive Minecraft wood plank TV dates all the way back in the 1980s. It was used by a group of German foreigners who were working for the company that our grandpa worked at. After the foreigners flew back to Germany, the house they were staying at in America was scheduled to be bulldozed, so all the furniture inside needed to go. Our uncle swooped in and rescued the poor CRT from being totaled. He used it for some time before passing it to our dad in the early 1990s. We weren't even born yet when it was brought into our family. When we were eventually brought into this world in the year 1996, we moved across the country weeks after being born. This wooden beast came along with us for the ride, and for the first time, it was given a true home and a purpose: to entertain and rot our small brains with TV shows and, most importantly, play video games. Our earliest video game memories was watching our dad play Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. We'd sit crisscross applesauce and watch in complete awe. He'd roam the lands on the back of Yoshi, fly through the skies with the iconic yellow cape, and confidently marched his way into the frightening Koopalin castles, while the two of us felt a sense of uneasiness creep up our spines. Our dad let us hold a controller from time to time, and we'd probably ran straight into Galoombas and repeatedly plunged off the levels. We also enjoyed watching our older brother and sister play a Mickey Mouse game. Pretty sure it was this one? Memories of this game are a bit hazy, though there is one distinct memory we have with this presumptive game. There was a part where Mickey has to run away from a big animal that's chasing you. Every time we reached this part, the four of us would all stand up and run in place like we were Mickey himself and pretend the animal was chasing us. This moment practically prepared us for Wii Fit Basic Run. Now, the Super Nintendo era was equal to the short distance difficulty in Wii Fit Basic Run. It was short-lived. Our parents sold it at a garage sale when we were still very young. We even said our goodbyes. Before the garage sale opened, we both gave our farewells to the SNES, and we gave it a kiss. Yeah, we kissed our Super Nintendo goodbye. Is that a problem? Later that year, we said hello to its replacement, the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 is the definition of nostalgia to us. We have quite the abundance of memories with this console, most of which were from playing on this very TV. One of the games we got for Christmas that year was Super Smash Bros. If we recorded our play history with every game we played in our lifetimes, there is no doubt that Smash Bros would crack the top 5. Matt and I would sit inches from the TV and come up with the most obscure ways to play. Our imagination had to have been quite concerned with how our brains functioned. We used to turn off every item except for Pokeballs and farm for Mew for hours. Summoning a Mew is rare, so whenever it finally popped up, we'd pause the game and just stared at it. We also had an odd fascination with double teaming an idle Kirby until his HP reached a fully maxed out 999%. Then we'd send Kirby to the moon and then do it again. Kirby, we're sorry. You did not deserve to go through so much suffering. At least we didn't take it too far by stealing any of his snacks. Yeah, one of our big go-tos was role-playing scenes, like Pikachu coming over to Link's house to hang out. Or we'd roleplay scenarios where we'd play against girl characters and run away because they have cuties. We were heavily inspired by the Kanker sisters from Ed, Edd and Eddy. Taking breaks from video games and flipping to channel 29 to binge Cartoon Network for hours was a thick piece of our childhood. And for some reason, we'd also flip around with these little knobs on the side here, like we were working in the control deck of a spaceship. The best time to mess with these dials was when we played Mario Party. We'd blast the picture to crank up the contrast, baby. It was the most satisfying, coolest thing our eyes had ever laid upon. Step aside, Mona Lisa. A new masterpiece has arrived. Our TV friend held so many surprises and secrets. One of them was believed to be the mystery behind the TV itself. We can't be the only kids who did not comprehend the workings of a TV. There were so many times where we'd be watching a show and one of us would crawl back behind the TV while the other would watch Dora the Explorer. Whoever was behind the TV would shout, "Do you see me?" And then the other would reply, "No." Television blew our minds. Same with the CPUs. We did not for the life of us understand them. How are they moving on their own? Who's controlling them? Well, we had a theory. Some strange person or creature was behind the TV with a Nintendo 64 controller in hand. So we boot up a game of Mario Party or Smash Bros. And yep, we'd run and peer over the TV, only to find a Jolly Rancher wrapper and a bent up Pokemon card. We never got to see a stranger back there, but we did get to see someone who we knew quite well control other video game characters. Some other fond memories we held on to over the years were the good old times of watching our older brother embark on various adventures in single player games. Our favorites to watch were Ocarina of Time, Star Fox 64, and Banjo-Kazooie. We were always filled with excitement whenever our brother would solve a quest he'd been stuck on for weeks, or discover a brand new area to explore, or taken down fake Andros 35 times. Now, Mike and I didn't only play party games or drive around in the sand and ram into walls on our dad's copy of F1 Grand Prix. No, like our big bro, we also set out on our own single player journeys. In Rugrats in Paris. Yeah, that's right, take a seat, excessively contrasted Mario Party. A new masterpiece has entered the building. We grew up watching the show Rugrats, so it made sense that we had this game. Chucking cookies, hitting birdies, and don't even get us started on the bumper car balloon minigame. But there was one problem we had. Rugrats doesn't have a typical file system. It required a memory card to save data, and we had no idea what a memory card was, nor did we own one back in the day. So every single time we played Rugrats in Paris, we had to start completely over. That was until we discovered a strategy. Just leave the Nintendo 64 on until we beat it. Yeah, that's right, run up the electricity bill and keep our TV and N64 on life support. However, the few times we attempted this groundbreaking strategy, it never paid off. We couldn't beat the stupid snail robot final boss, and yeah, to this day, we still have never done it. Oh, but one day we will taste victory and revenge. Okay, so we actually did play some good old classic Nintendo titles for ourselves. Donkey Kong 64 and Super Mario 64. Two titles that will forever go down as some of the most important games to us. Mostly Super Mario 64. We bought it used at a mall, and the second we got home, we both darted down to the basement to our CRT and instantly flipped on the power switch. And at that moment, we were hooked. The time we spent with this game, along with our CRT buddy, will forever be cherished. We played so many different games on this bad boy, from the ones we grew up with, to the games we rented from Family Video, and even the games that our friends brought over. It somehow survived the many trips of being downstairs in the basement, completely surrounded by toys and chaotic twin brothers, and upstairs in the playroom, which was also completely surrounded by a sea of toys and the same reckless, mischievous children. However, it didn't do a great job of surviving the next generation of gaming. In 2003, we got a GameCube for Christmas. We played our GameCube on a variety of TVs around the house, but never on our wooden 1980s TV. Our favorite setup we had was when we stacked our new CRT on top of the old one. The ultimate brain rot setup. But hey, just because we had the GameCube didn't mean we stopped playing our Nintendo 64 on our classic TV. That's right, we revisited our friend from time to time. Even when we were in high school and home from college, we dedicated our corner in the basement for our TV and our newly arranged, wicked cool game room at the time. The CRT's main role was to play our NES, so our TV did live on, even though our dad desperately wants to get rid of it. It's ancient, it takes up a lot of space, and the back of it is most likely filled with rat turds and dead bugs. But no, Mike and I are too stubborn to move on from it. There's one time where we were so close to getting this thing out of the house. After humorously bantering back and forth with our dad, we were finally convinced to let go of the TV. So the two of us accepted defeat and begrudgingly lugged our good friend out into the front lawn for the garbage truck to pick up the following morning. Then, our severe case of sentimental syndrome begged us to save him. You don't belong out there on the grass, or in someone else's living room, or even worse, in the back of a garbage truck. You belong with us. We ran outside with a hand truck dolly and wheeled him back up the driveway and back down in the basement where he belongs. Saying goodbye to something you care about is always difficult, but sometimes it's the necessary thing to do. Ending a chapter doesn't mean that the story is over, because a blank page is just a flip away, ready to be filled with new memories.